Spur de sparde! It's Finland time!
Finlandia, Finlandia, sieh doch in Karelien ist der Ivan wieder da. Herr Molotow versprach, dass er eine schnelle Reis. Morgen schon in Helsinki genießen wir ein Eis.
So, Finland is one of those countries where I went to just for one day, and now I feel I'm well endowed to talk about it. Still got there before my ex who really wanted to go there, so f*** you, and now you can get to Finland in three ways. You can fly into Helsinki-Vantaa International Airport like a bitch, or you can also drive in from Sweden, Norway and Russia, which is a bit more ballsy, but you'll still be a bitch. Or you can come in on a boat like the real pirate you are.
You are a pirate. You're hard Finland indeed. Being a pirate is a red indeed. Do what you want cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
You can come into Finland by boat via Estonia, where you can catch a ferry which ranges in price. But if you're lucky, you can get yourself a ticket for somewhere in between 10 to 20 euros and pretend for the next 2 hours that you're one of the autistic twins from the Sweet Life on Deck. Once you arrive there, you will probably be met with rain, as 16 out of 30 days in a month in Finland are rainy days. And let me tell you something, I got sick of this real quick. No wonder Finland is the 7th country in Europe by the amount of suicides. I'd off myself too if every 15 minutes I had God sprinkling water over my head. Chinese water torture? Lamau, what a joke. Try living in Finland for a change. Kuule väga malt, et me poole Leedu. Lietuva! Other than a bunch of people killing themselves, Helsinki also has a bunch of buildings, most of which are the neoclassical and Art Nouveau architecture styles, which simply makes the city look beautiful. Anywhere you go, you're met with these blocky buildings with the most classy facades. Coming from Eastern Europe, where your cities look like this, to this is just refreshing. Thank God for Simo Hea, otherwise this would be a different story. Arguably, the most famous neoclassical building in the city would be the Helsinki Cathedral, also known as the Tuomiokirkko. Originally built in the mid-19th century, this bad boy was created as a tribute to the Grand Duke of Finland, Tsar Nicholas I of Russia. Also used to be called St. Nicholas Church up until 1917, when Finland got out of the mess that was the Russian Empire and renamed the church. Like most of the Nordic countries, 68% of the 5.5 million people follow Lutheranism, which is a branch of Christianity known for that one guy that posted his 95 Thesis Yelp review on the doors of the Catholic Church, and sticking it up the Pope's ass, which then ended up causing 3 decades of family-friendly religious war within the Holy Roman Empire, aka today's Germany and friends. By the Helsinki Church, you also have the government palace, which overlooks the church, and the statue of Alexander II, which commemorates the Diet of Finland, which was a legislative assembly in the Duchy of Finland. Tsar Alexander II was generally favored by the Finns, as he passed multiple reforms to grant Finland more autonomy. During the reign of Tsar Nicholas II, aka the guy who pissed off the entire country that it became red, get it what I did there? Russification of Finland was set in action, and in the way of protest, people would leave flowers by the statue to commemorate the good Tsar. Yikes. History really didn't treat you well, hey buddy? Anyway, speaking of Russians, there's also the Uspensky Cathedral, and even though only 1.1% of the Finnish population is Orthodox, this bad boy sits on a hill and looks over the city. The church represents the Dormition of Mary, and it has a pretty sick design. Oh, and it also has a plaque commemorating Tsar Alexander II too. By it, you also got a pier, which is pretty dope. You can see some hella nice buildings, and I especially enjoyed these with a brick facade. Just gives you a nice urban vibe. Alright, that's all great, Nick. But let's talk about the Finns themselves. Who are they? Alright, since you asked. Unlike most of us basic ass bitches in Europe, Finns don't fit in with any of the major tribes of Europe, such as the Romans, Germans, or the Slavs. Rather, they are in a special country club of countries known as the Finno-Ugrics, of which only 3 sovereign countries are part of: Finland, Estonia, and the Spastics claiming Transylvania as their own. Same goes for the language they speak. The majority of languages in Europe fall under the Indo-European language family. Meanwhile, Finnish and Uralic languages, sharing this title along with Hungary, Estonia, and a bunch of other tribes that never got lucky enough to gain their independence from Russia. Although in the same family tree, these languages are not mutually comprehensible. But there are some similarities, such as, for an example, in English, you would say a living fish swims underwater, but in Estonian, elav kala ujub vi al. Finnish, elava kala uiveden ala. In Hungarian, eleven hol usikaviz olot, which I think is pretty cool. Anyways, what else? Yes, there's the House of the Estates, built in the late 19th century. It used to house the estates throughout the Diet of Finland. However, today it's used as a meetup place for political parties to form coalitions and for sessions of high court impeachment. Across you have the National Bank of Finland, which is practically more or less useless today, as Finland is in the Eurozone. However, it is the fourth oldest central bank in the world. Shout out to all my finance majors. Speaking of Finland and money, Finland is one hellhole if you're a student coming from Eastern Europe. Everything is so expensive here, and I simply can't even. The cost of living in Helsinki is 90% more expensive than living in Belgrade, and that's why a lot of Finns take the ferry to go to Estonia and purchase cheap alcohol, as the cost of living in Tallinn compared to Helsinki is 50% cheaper. But the most interesting part about Helsinki isn't the architecture, nor the people, nor the food, but rather it's the bad boy.
Bad boy, what's he gonna do?
Standing 8.5 meters tall, this pissing statue is the peak of my humor and this video. There really isn't much of a story for this statue except that it was created by some dude for an exhibition and that now it hangs out at the harbor. And yeah, that would be it from what I could see. I was there for just one day and there are a ton of more things to do when seeing Helsinki that I didn't get to, unfortunately, such as the Tempeljajon Church, Suomenlinna, Parliament, and many more museums and galleries. But I'm sure to return to Finland one day and not be restricted by my economics exams. Anyways, what do you think about Helsinki? Have you been there? Do you plan on going? Let me know in the comment section. My name is Nick, and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Jednog grba Kamila odmah se pomama.